Hey guys, I'm Mark from Portion of Sport and welcome to week 15 of the Premier League review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we then take a look at the Premier League table, we finish off by looking at the Premier League top goal scorers. So here is a list of the past set of Premier League results along with their times in the video. If you want to hear about a certain game, just go to the time next to the match and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first game. And we start with Leicester versus Manchester City. Going into this game, the man who broke the record for scoring in 11 consecutive matches last season, Jamie Vardy, went 10 games without scoring a single Premier League goal. But this run would end only 3 minutes into the match when he put the reigning champions ahead. It came when Robert Huth won a header that fell to last year's Player of the Year Riyad Mahrez. He then played it to his fellow Algerian Islam Slimani, who then played a ball through to Vardy. Vardy took one touch before putting the ball in the back of the net past Claudio Bravo. Leicester would go 2-0 up only 3 minutes later when Andy King got on the score sheet. This goal also started with Robert Huth winning a header that finds Islam Slimani. He laid it off to Andy King, who curled the ball into the roof of the net. And 15 minutes later, Leicester would get their third of the match and Jamie Vardy got his second. It came when Christian Fuchs plays a long ball over the top to Riyad Mahrez, who played it through to Jamie Vardy with his first touch, and Vardy keeps his cool, goes around Claudio Bravo and puts the ball into the empty net. I hope you've got the blue WKD out, lads, because I've heard a certain Jamie Vardy was having a party after this match, as in the 78th minute he did something that he hasn't done since 2012 when he scored a hat-trick. And guess who he scored that last hat-trick for? You're going to love this. Fleetwood Town. Rags to riches story indeed. But anyway, back to the goal. John Stones had a mare when all he had to do was smash it up the field, but instead he tried to play it back to his keeper, but what he does instead was play a perfect ball through to Jamie Vardy. Vardy takes the ball around, hits from an outrageous angle, the ball hit the post and rolled across the line. Manchester City would get some consolation goals though, and the first one came in the 81st minute when Manchester City had a free kick and Alexander Kolarov stepped up to take it. He got the ball over the wall, back down again into the back of the net. City would get their second in the 89th minute when Nolito got on the score sheet. It came when Alexander Kolarov played a ball through to Nolito, who slotted home into the bottom corner. And that is how the game would end. Jamie Vardy got his first ever Premier League hat-trick and his first hat-trick in 4 years. And these goals took his tally for Leicester up to 34, and Jamie Vardy is now Leicester City's leading top goal scorer ever. And we move on to Watford versus Everton. The first bit of action in this game came in the 17th minute, and it was when the away side went ahead. It came when Gareth Barry played a ball over the top. Gomez can't come for it, Miguel Britos can't get back, and Romelu Lukaku was able to slip the ball in with the game's first shot on target. Watford would get the equaliser 20 minutes later when Stefano Okaka scored a gorgeous goal. It came when Nordin Amrabat plays across into the far post. Okaka was there to flick the ball home with a back heel. Watford would go ahead in the game in the 59th minute when a free kick is whipped into the box from Jose Halabas and Sebastian Prodl heads the ball home with a powerful header. And Watford would look to put the game to bed in the 63rd minute when Stefano Okaka got his second goal of the game and Watford's third. It came just after Martin Stekelenburg made a brilliant save and put the ball out for a corner. Jose Halabas took the corner and Stefano Okaka was on hand to head home the delivery. Everton would try to get back into the game in the 86th minute when Romelu Lukaku made it 3-2. It came when Aaron Lennon played across into the box and the big Belgian was on mark in the head home, one of the simplest goals he's ever going to get. And that's how the game would end. Let's be honest, Watford definitely deserved to win this one. Everton didn't pose any sort of threat for most of the game, and no offence Watford fans, this should have been one of the easiest games of Everton's upcoming fixtures, as they have a lot of unfavourable fixtures coming up. But this result means Everton continue their horrible run of form as late, as they have only won 1 game in their last 10. And we move on to Hull versus Crystal Palace. Hull would have the perfect opportunity to take the lead in the 26th minute when they got a penalty. It came when Scott Dann is judged to have fouled Robert Snodgrass in the box and the referee pointed to the spot. However, the replay showed that Scott Dann was about to make a tackle, but when he saw Snodgrass coming in, he retracted his foot to avoid contact. Dan didn't touch him, Snodgrass went down, and actually after the match, Robert Snodgrass actually apologised for winning the penalty. But anyway, back to the spot kick. Robert Snodgrass stepped up to take it and he smashed the ball high into the net to put Hull 1-0 up. But Crystal Palace would get a penalty of their own in the 52nd minute when the man who blatantly dived to win the earlier penalty, Robert Snodgrass, fouled Wilfried Zaha. But unlike the earlier one, this foul was actually a foul and there was contact. Christian Benteke stepped up to take the spot kick and he strolled up and side-footed it into the corner. Crystal Palace would take the lead 20 minutes later when Wilfried Zaha scored. It came when a Palace corner isn't cleared properly by Hull and Zaha picked up the ball about 30 yards out. He does a few step overs to get into the box and unleashes the shot, and David Marshall had no chance as the ball flew into the back of the net. But they wouldn't be ahead for long as 2 minutes later Hull would equalise the scoring. It came when Adama Diomande had the ball on the edge of the box. He does a delightful turn to get away from Scott Dan and Damien Delaney and then slots past Wayne Hennessy, and this was his first goal in 13 games. And Hull would retake the lead only 6 minutes later when Jake Livermore got on the scoreboard. It came when Livermore was allowed to run into the penalty area, getting past Johan Cabaye and Scott Dan in the process. Livermore then slotted the ball into the net as Hull took the lead after being 2-1 down only 7 minutes earlier. But this game wouldn't be over as Crystal Palace equalised the scoring for the second time in the game. It came when Wilfried Zaha played the ball into the near post and Palace substitute Fraser Campbell got in front of his marker to head home. And that's how the game would end. If I'm honest, Crystal Palace probably deserved to win this one, especially considering the controversy around the penalty for Hull. And if that wasn't given, who knows how this game would have ended. And we move on to Arsenal versus Stoke. The first bit of action came in the 27th minute when Stoke were given a penalty. It came when Joe Allen went down in the box, and looking at the replays, it looked like Granit Xhaka caught him with an elbow. It looked accidental, but I'm not sure. Penalty anyway. Charlie Adams stepped up to take it as he sent Petr Cech the wrong way as he slotted the ball into the back of the net. But Arsenal would equalise before the half-time break when Theo Walcott got the goal. It came when Hector Bellerin played the ball in at the near post and Theo Walcott timed his run perfectly and converted the cross. And Arsenal would take the lead just after the half-time break when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain played the ball over the Stoke defence and Mesut Ozil was in a ton of space to lift the header over Lee Grant. Arsenal would put the game to bed in the 75th minute when substitute Alex Iwobi got the goal. It came when Iwobi played it to Sanchez. It looked like he was fouled, but the nephew of footballing legend JJ Okocha ran in to reclaim the ball and slotted the ball past the keeper. And that's how the game would end. Impressive display from Arsenal, and they could have won this game by a lot more. And this took them top of the league on Saturday night, with Chelsea still to play on Sunday. And we move on to Burnley versus Bournemouth. Burnley would take the lead 13 minutes into the match, and it was their record signing, Jeff Hendrick, who got the goal. It came when Hendrick controlled the ball about 25 yards out and then smashes the half volley into the top corner to score a wonderful goal. 3 minutes later, Burnley would double their lead when Ben Mee's header is deflected off of Callum Wilson and the ball is then dropped by Artur Boruc, and Ben Ward was able to smash home from point blank range. Bournemouth would get themselves back into the game just before half-time, as in the 47th minute they got a goal. It came when Simon Francis played a low pass into Benik Afoke, who hit it first time past keeper Tom Heaton. Burnley would look to put the game to bed in the 75th minute when they retook their 2-goal lead. It came when Andrea Gray plays a back heel into the path of George Boyd, who does the rest and smashed it past Artur Boruc. But just like last week, Bournemouth would not go down quietly when they played a quick corner to Charlie Daniels, who turned his man and fired his shot past the keeper. But unlike last week, Bournemouth couldn't get back into this one as they couldn't get the equaliser, and the game ended 3-2 to Burnley. And this was a big win for Burnley, who ended their run of 3 losses in a row, and Bournemouth again had a good performance, and on another day, 2 goals would win you a game, but not this week. And we move on to Swansea versus Sunderland. The game was pretty dead in the first half, and the first bit of action came in the 50th minute when Sunderland player Jason Denayer was deemed to have handballed it in the area, and the referee pointed to the spot. Gylfi Sigurdsson stepped up to take the penalty and he put the ball down the middle, and the Welsh side went 1-0 up. 5 minutes later, Swansea would double their lead, and it was their summer signing Fernando Llorente who bagged the goal. It came when Gylfi Sigurdsson played a low cross into the box which reached Llorente, and he put his right foot through it as the ball travelled through a bunch of players and past Jordan Pickford into the back of the net. And Swansea would put the game to bed in the 80th minute when Fernando Llorente got his second of the game. It came when Leon Britton won the ball and set Jefferson Montero on a run down the left-hand side. He then clipped in a ball and it was met by the head of Llorente, who leaped higher than his marker and sent the ball home. And that is how the game would end. The 2 goals from Fernando Llorente helped Swansea get off of the bottom of the table and also sent their opponents filling the place that they just left. And we move on to Chelsea versus West Brom. Chelsea roll over West Brom in this match, but it would take until the 78th minute before they finally opened the scoring. It came when Cesc Fabregas played a ball forward and Gareth McCauley should do the smart thing and put it into the stands. However, he doesn't and tries to cut back inside, Diego Costa was on hand to steal the ball off of him. The Spaniard comes inside the area, bends the ball past Ben Foster and into the top corner. And that is how the game would end. Really, I'm not lying, it was a pretty boring game. Chelsea continue their run of wins this match, making it 9 wins on the trot, and they stay at the top of the league for another week. And we move on to Manchester United versus Tottenham. One of the reasons why I dislike Jose Mourinho is because he's an idiot. He hardly plays summer signing Henrik Mkhitaryan, despite every time he does start, he either scores or assists. And this match would be no different, as last year's Bundesliga Player of the Year got on the score sheet in the 29th minute. It came when Harry Kane gave the ball away in the middle of the pitch and Ander Herrera unleashes Mkhitaryan. He has Ibrahimovic if he wants to square it, but he goes himself and smashes the ball past Hugo Lloris. And how about this for a stat? Henrik Mkhitaryan is the first Armenian player to ever score in the Premier League. And that's how the game would end. Pretty boring game in all fairness. A few chances here and there, but nothing to write home about. Tottenham were really poor coming forward in the latter stages of this game. The Spurs defence in midfield would get the ball forward, but there was no Tottenham players attacking the ball. But this result gave Manchester United their first home win since September. And we move on to Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool started the better of the two sides and they deservedly took the lead 4 minutes into the game when the returning Adam Lallana got on the score sheet. It came when Sadio Mane had the ball in the middle of the pitch and made his way out left. He picks out Lallana in the box, who then turned 2 West Ham defenders before striking the ball low into the corner. But West Ham would equalise their scoring in the 28th minute when Dimitri Payet scored from a free kick. The free kick came when Adam Lallana clumsily gave away the free kick and Payet stepped up, got it over the wall and into the bottom corner. And let's be honest, Loris Karius, you're trash, mate. Payet's free kick might be one of the worst he's hit, and it should be an easy save for a professional keeper. But no, of course not. For some reason, Liverpool just aren't allowed competent goalkeepers. And West Ham would take the lead in the 39th minute, and yet again, a goal that really shouldn't have happened. It came when West Ham just punt the ball up from their defence. It comes off of the head of Jordan Henderson. Joe Matip panics and doesn't do anything as the ball bounced over him, and Mikel Antonio was on hand to pick up the loose ball, take it closer to goal before slotting past Loris Karius, who looked like a deer in headlights, and West Ham undeservedly went 2-1 up. But Liverpool would draw the scoring level just after the half-time break when man-informed Divock Origi got the goal. It came when Sadio Mane again crosses in from the left, and it should be an easy catch for Randolph, but he doesn't get it and it falls right into the feet of the Belgian, who nearly missed the open goal as it went in off the post. And that is how the game would end. The points were shared in this one, even though Liverpool should have really won this one. And yes, you may call me biased, but both of West Ham goals came from mistakes. The first one was an easy save, and the second one, our defence was crap. Fair play to West Ham for capitalising on them. This point lifted West Ham out of the relegation zone, and it kept Liverpool in third, but league leaders Chelsea are getting further away by the week. And finally, we've got Southampton versus Middlesbrough. Not many chances for either team in the first half, but in the second half, Southampton came out the stronger of the two sides, and they deservedly went ahead 5 minutes into the second half. It came when James Ward-Prowse found Sofiane Boufal on the edge of the box, who takes one touch and curls the ball with his left foot into the bottom corner. And that is how the game would end. There's nothing that I can add to this one, really. You can tell why both of these teams are the lowest scoring in the league. Southampton came away with all 3 points. Yeah, let's just move on. So that's all the fixtures I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea stay top with their 9th league win on the bounce this week. Arsenal are second following their win against Stoke. Liverpool are third, but they are falling behind following their draw with West Ham this week. Manchester City are fourth after getting battered at Leicester this week. And Tottenham make up the top 5 despite suffering their second loss of the season this week against Manchester United. Moving on to the bottom 5, and as you can see, Sunderland fall back into the bottom of the league following their loss to Swansea this week. Hull are 19th following their 6-goal draw at Palace. Swansea move off the bottom but stay in the bottom 3 after beating Sunderland this week. West Ham move out of the bottom 5 after their point from Liverpool. And the mighty Borough are 16th following this week's loss to Southampton. And moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, Diego Costa is still top, adding another goal to his tally this week. Sanchez is still second despite not scoring against Stoke. Aguero is third on 10 goals, and he'll stay on 10 until the end of the month as he is suspended. Lukaku is fourth, adding 2 goals to his tally this week. And Jermaine Defoe makes it the top 5 despite not scoring. Right, so that's all I've got for you this time. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And because there is a set of matches on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, I'll be back on Thursday for the next episode of the Premier League review. I swear this Christmas period is going to kill me. But if you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, the links to both are in the description down below, or my channel should be coming onto your screen about now. You can click it on mobile. Go on, give them a click. Go on, click it. But anyway, I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.